California Congressman Robert Garcia, the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, was just in that interview with Leon Black. He joins us now. Congressman, tell us what happened.
Look, at the end of the day, Leon Black is critical to this investigation. $150 million from Leon Black went to Jeffrey Epstein. There are survivors that we know have actually accused Mr. Black of really serious crimes and abuse. And the fact that he won't answer questions with relating to these NDAs is huge. And for us, for this investigation, what the chairman is doing right now is important. These subpoenas will ensure that we get the NDAs, but also ensure that we actually get Leon Black in front of our committee under subpoena and under oath, so that he actually has to answer these questions. These interviews should all be under oath. And the fact right now that we're actually going to get Mr. Black under oath is really important. So we actually commend Chairman Comer's decision here. It's what Democrats have been asking for this entire time, is under oath depositions. And so right now we're actually waiting for Leon Black to make a decision whether he's going to continue, whether he's not. He's been meeting with his lawyers, but the attorneys have been doing a good job of asking tough questions he won't answer.
Okay, let's talk about those tough questions, especially since this conversation is still happening, playing out in real time. What are the questions you want to ask of Leon Black?
Look, we need to ask Leon Black where and why he gave Jeffrey Epstein $150 million and for what, because at the end of the day, we do not know. We also now know that Leon Black is essentially ending this interview because he's being asked for information about these NDAs, about these women that were abused, that were targeted. And so there's a lot of information that he has. Look, we're just hearing right now that Mr. Black is probably going to walk out of this interview. He's no longer going to continue. But what he needs to understand is that we're going to continue to be able to answer these questions because he's going to have to come back to us under subpoena. I think that's going to be really important.
I'm sorry, Congressman, did you have an opportunity to sidebar with Chairman Comer in advance of his decision, his announcement that he was going to issue these subpoenas?
We've been communicating with Mr. Comer the entire time, so I think he's doing the right thing here. But I think right now, I'm glad that Leon Black is going to come back under subpoena and answer our questions. And so,
one of
I
the
actually
women,
think he's going to be coming out here right now in a minute.
We'll keep our cameras trained on him. Oh.
Turn your mic on, Mike.
That is Leon Black walking towards our cameras. He is refusing to continue this interview. He has now been issued subpoena by the chair of the House Oversight Committee. We will check in with our own Michael Schnell on the other side to see if he was willing to answer questions of reporters. Congressman, I want to come back to you because one of the women who accused Epstein of abuse in the files also said he directed her to give massages to Black and to others. Black categorically denied abuse allegations in his testimony. He said he was not aware of any, quote, nefarious activity from Epstein until he was charged with trafficking in 2019. Still, he hired him after his 2008 conviction for solicitation of a minor for prostitution. Were you able to address any of this in the time you had with him?
Mr. Black won't answer questions. I think what you just saw right now is exactly why this investigation is so important. There are two men that provided most of the financial support to Jeffrey Epstein. One is Les Wexner, and the other, of course, is Leon Black. And the idea that Leon Black won't answer questions about these multiple NDAs, the fact that he won't answer questions about survivors and women that have made serious accusations, that is why he will now have to come in under oath. And I want to just say this is, I think, important for people to understand. A lot of these interviews are not conducted under oath. It's been a complaint from Democrats. We want these interviews under oath so they have to actually answer the questions and have to be truthful. And so I think for Chairman Comer to make the decision and to switch strategy and to actually ask Leon Black to actually be under oath and answer questions, I think is actually an important step. I'm glad that's finally happening, and that should be the case for every single interview. Only the majority, in this case Republicans in the House, have the ability to issue subpoenas unless there's a bipartisan vote. So this is a good moment for this investigation. And Leon Black is at the center of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. He was very friendly with them. They were described as being best friends, and he has an enormous amount of information. I will add one other thing. There's reporting that Leon Black also possibly traveled with President Trump. There's connections to Russia. There's connections to trafficking. So all this information has got to come out.
Okay. This is the work you are doing inside the House Oversight Committee. In tandem, you have a federal judge recently ordered the Justice Department to produce an unredacted, even more Epstein file, saying it has not fully complied with the Epstein Transparency Act. How does that potentially change the nature of what you're doing inside House Oversight?
Look, we are incredibly supportive and grateful for all the different lawsuits and the different actions that are being taken by the courts. I mean, just recently, obviously, the fact that now we have a judge talking about standing the ability for journalists to actually get information to sue to ensure that all of the files are released is so important. Look, only 50% of the Epstein files have been actually released to the public. About 3 million documents, half of the Epstein files, have not been released to the public. Why? What's in those? What information is critical to our investigation that's being hidden by the Department of Justice? It's for these reasons that Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, and so many others need to be in front of our committee, but in front of our committee under oath. And I'm so glad that Leon Black, who has been at the center of this investigation and our work, will now have to come back under oath. We had an enormous amount of questions for him, and I'm glad we're going to be able to answer those with the security of an under oath testimony.